Page, one of the co-founders of Google, once said, always deliver more than expected. My name is Jurgen Moors. I'm a coach, a strategic advisor, and a consultant. And welcome to day 4 of the 30-day live stream on entrepreneurship. And with this 30-day live stream on entrepreneurship, I try to deliver more than expected. And I hope that you, as a entrepreneur in the future, can deliver more than is expected of you. Now, today we will look at the differences and the similarities of an entrepreneur versus an intrapreneur. And we already kicked this off with the definition on day 2. There we said the entrepreneur, he or she actually creates or starts their own standalone business, whereas the intrapreneur undertakes or pursues projects, innovations inside the comfort of a larger organization. Now, if you look at risk and investment, then the entrepreneur typically invests their own resources and also a rather big personal financial risk. Whereas if you look at the intrapreneur, then they typically use the resources of a company, of a vast company, the vast resources, and you will probably see no to very little personal financial risks. If you look at autonomy, then of course the entrepreneur has a huge autonomy, has full control over the company, as long as there are no venture capital and other investors, and then they have to cope with that as well. But the intrapreneur, as more as you refine your entrepreneurial skills, you will also see that you have a huge amount of autonomy and control, but you will always be limited by certain boundaries that are set by the organization. Now, if you look at resource allocations, then you typically see that the intrapreneur has to take care of everything themselves. They have to take care of their own funding, have to make sure that they hire the right people, and so forth and so on. The intrapreneur, they of course have the access to all of the resources of a company, which can be people, which can be knowledge, corporations, funding, and that's a huge advantage for the intrapreneur. If you look at motivation, then the entrepreneur has the drive to create something new out of the blue, a completely new innovation, a standalone business, and hopes to have some kind of financial independence over time. Whereas the intrapreneur is more motivated by the desire to innovate, to improve their existing company and business, make it more competitive, help it. And on the other hand side, from a personal level, looking at career advancement or some of the other 4 benefits that we discussed yesterday on day 3. Now, if we look at the motivation, then we see that typically the entrepreneurs are driven by a gap, something that they identified in the market, and then they want to also bring this forward. If you look at the market approach, then the entrepreneurs are driven by this market gap that I just said, and then create a solution and bring it to the external customers. If you look at the intrapreneurs, they want to help their company either optimize their processes, whether they want to bring new customers, whether they want to help the existing customers with new products or improved products. This is something that most of the time is the market approach that you see by an intrapreneur. Now, what is the final outcome and what are the differences there? Well, the entrepreneur in the end wants to have grow a stable business, wants to bring it to the stock market and sell part of his shares, or wants to sell the company in a complete. Where you see with an entrepreneur is they want to make sure that their existing company becomes better, is better positioned, becomes more competitive, has better processes. So the drive there is a little bit different. Now, if you look at the similarities, then there are 3 major similarities that you can compare. And one of them is innovation. They're both driven by innovation, by changing things. They need to create new things to solve problems. This is for both a very strong drive. If you look at the skill set, that is also a very high similarity between the skill sets that they both have as an entrepreneur and as an entrepreneur. When we think about creativity, about resilience, about problem solving, and so forth. And last but not least, they both have a growth mindset. They both want to learn new stuff, have more impact, looking for new opportunities. That is part of them both. And this brings me to the end of day 4 of this 30-day live stream on entrepreneurship. And I challenge you to think about those differences and for yourself define, okay, what is that one difference for me as an entrepreneur that really makes me tick? And take that with you and join me tomorrow when we kick off day 5 of this 30-day live stream. See you tomorrow.